The partnership between Stephenson and William J. Donovan did more than create an intelligence office. It created a new blueprint for espionage itself. Before Stephenson, American intelligence was scattered, inconsistent, and reactive. The FBI tracked domestic threats, but it did not run global networks. The military branches gathered foreign reports, but they lacked coordination. Diplomatic channels moved slowly, bound by bureaucracy and caution. Stephenson's BSC introduced something different, something dangerous, sophisticated and institutional, a unified system of modern intelligence. A system built on independent covert operations, psychological warfare, foreign penetration, code breaking, sabotage, assassination planning, disinformation, and long-term political influence. This was the model that Donovan adopted. This was what the OSS became, and this was the foundation on which the CIA would be built after the war. Modern espionage did not begin in Washington. It began in room 3603. It began with Stephenson, training the shadow army. To create a new intelligence apparatus, Stephenson understood that America needed more than paperwork and offices. It needed operatives, quiet men and women with nerves of steel, capable of living double lives, carrying out sabotage, resisting interrogation, operating behind enemy lines, and vanishing without trace. BSC established the first large-scale covert training programs in North America. Two facilities became iconic: Station M, experimental weapons and gadget research; Station Fire, psychological warfare labs; Camp X, the most secret and most vital of all. Here, American recruits received training that even the British considered extreme. Close-quarters combat created to kill within seconds, clandestine radio operation, explosives, silent infiltration, forgery, covert communications, interrogation resistance, urban surveillance, counter-surveillance, and rapid sabotage. Many OSS officers who later shaped CIA operations learned their skills here. Stephenson was not only fighting a war, he was creating a generation of covert warriors who would fight future wars America did not yet know it would face. The psychological warfare revolution. Stephenson was one of the first to understand that modern war was psychological. Fear, belief, confusion, morale. These were weapons as lethal as bombs. America had no wartime psychological strategy. Britain did. Stephenson brought it to the United States. He taught American operatives how to influence enemy soldiers and entire populations. He introduced techniques that would later drive Cold War campaigns: rumor operations, forged letters, insider leaks, fake diplomatic communications, media manipulation, cultural messaging, personality cult disruption, morale collapse strategies. This became one of the most secret and most consequential American doctrines. Without firing a bullet, Stephenson was transforming the United States into a psychological superpower. The penetration of industry. Beyond spies and propaganda, Stephenson recognized another battlefield: American industry. The war machine depended on the factories of Detroit, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and New York, and German agents were desperate to infiltrate these sectors. Stephenson built deep relationships with corporate executives, often in secret, monitoring steel shipments, aircraft manufacturing, industrial sabotage attempts, naval construction, rare metal procurement, foreign commercial intermediaries. BSC investigations revealed Nazi-linked corporations operating inside the U.S. financial system, funneling money to German firms. Many executives complied willingly with British intelligence. Some cooperated reluctantly. A few, exposed as Nazi sympathizers, were quietly neutralized by political pressure or financial disruption. The industrial front was as vital as the battlefield. Stephenson ensured the United States stayed protected from within.
Do you have the documents? They are here. Be careful, I think we were followed.
But espionage is a two-way game. German intelligence noticed something was wrong. Courier routes failed. Sabotage attempts misfired. Propaganda networks collapsed. Double agents vanished. Berlin recognized the fingerprints of British intelligence, and they knew exactly who was behind it. William Stephenson had become the most hunted intelligence figure in the Western Hemisphere. Nazi agencies began creating counter-networks in Latin America. They targeted neutral nations, shipping lines, consulates, and airline companies. They tried to rebuild influence in American political groups and academic circles. Stephenson responded by expanding BSC operations into South America with lightning speed. The secret war widened. What began in New York was now a hemisphere-wide conflict fought with deception, infiltration, and silent elimination. The clash with Hoover. Despite growing cooperation, one obstacle remained. J. Edgar Hoover viewed Stephenson as both an ally and a rival. He respected the intelligence BSC provided, especially against Nazi networks. But he despised foreign interference on American soil. Hoover worried that Stephenson's influence over Donovan, Roosevelt, the media, and American business sectors threatened the FBI's dominance. A political intelligence war simmered beneath the surface. Hoover wanted control. Stephenson wanted victory. Donovan wanted a modern intelligence agency. None of them would fully win. All of them would shape the future. It was in this chaotic environment that modern American espionage was truly born. The shadow that grew too large to ignore. By late 1942, BSC had become so powerful, so interconnected within American systems, that even Roosevelt privately admitted, "Stephenson is running half the intelligence war in the West." BSC influenced naval intelligence, air operations, counter-espionage, code-breaking, industrial security, political communication, Latin American covert actions. Stephenson's model was becoming the architecture of American espionage itself. He had not intended to create an empire. He intended to win a war, but empires have a habit of growing in the shadows. The war turns global again as the U.S. military fully entered the conflict. Espionage priorities shifted. The battleground stretched across North Africa, the Mediterranean, the Atlantic sea lanes, the Pacific, and occupied Europe. Stephenson now worked directly with global allied commands. His network supported American operations overseas. His intelligence shaped convoy protection. His training prepared OSS teams for missions in France, Norway, and the Balkans. The secret war within America had built something far greater. A joint shadow alliance capable of striking the Axis wherever they operated. This was the birth of modern espionage, not contained, not national, but global. The BSC Global Expan, a network across the world. By 1942, BSC had evolved into the largest covert network outside British soil. From New York, Stephenson commanded operations spanning Canada, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, Trinidad, Bermuda, Jamaica, Chile, Colombia, Uruguay. Every outpost served a purpose. Intercepting Axis communications, disrupting Nazi business fronts, monitoring shipping, and dismantling espionage cells. But some fronts demanded far more than surveillance. They required sabotage, striking the Axis in the shadows. Nazi networks in South America depended on industrial routes: fuel, steel, spare parts, machine tools. BSC teams infiltrated these pipelines, sabotaging shipments without revealing Allied involvement. Operations included contaminating fuel at Axis-aligned refineries, disabling machinery meant for German U-boats, blocking tungsten shipments, destroying electrical transformers destined for occupied Europe, planting timed incendiaries inside warehouses used by German agents. The goal was simple: make the enemy weaker, without letting them know how it happened. The secret war was never about headlines, medals, or fame. It was about survival. It was about creating a world capable of resisting tyranny, and it was about building the intelligence systems the modern age required. In the shadows, William Stephenson fought not one war, but two: the war against the Axis, and the war to build the intelligence machinery that would shape the rest of the century. In Episode 5, we enter the final and most dangerous phase: the operations leading directly into D-Day, the last sabotage missions of the war, the collapse of Nazi intelligence, and the covert battles that continued even after the guns fell silent. The darkness is not yet over, but the outcome is now within reach.